Hi there. Welcome to the Smart Money Program. I'm Frank Corbin, your host. Today I have a very interesting guest with me today. She's an accountant. She's a financial expert. More important, she is just like you. She been through the day-to-day struggles of finances, ups and downs, and managed to make herself successful in implementing a different strategy that I find very amazing. Because often we hear financial advisors telling you ways of getting out of debt. And she has a different approach that works for her. And she's willing to share with you guys today. Agatha, welcome to the Smart Money Program. How you doing?
Hi, good, thanks.
Now, I find it interesting. You're an accountant for over 10 plus years. And you had financial struggles. How you managed to get yourself into that?
Well, I was never taught anything about finance, personal finance. In high school, I never had a personal finance class, which is true for most people. My parents never sat me down and talked to me about money, and I'm not blaming them for that, but I feel like most parents don't do that with their kids, right? They give them the sex talk, but we never get the money talk. And then in college, even though I studied accounting, okay, I learned how to audit publicly traded companies and prepare tax returns for huge corporations, but I never had a personal finance class about what to actually do with money when you started making it. So when I hit the real world, I don't know, I just thought money grew on trees and I started spending. I started spending like crazy. I wasn't very happy in my life and I didn't know what to do about it. So I just spent money on stuff because I thought that if I bought stuff, then that would make me happy. So after only a year of working as an adult in the real world, I ended up in $30,000 of credit card debt.
Wow. Now, the credit card debt and the spending start from university time. Is that correct?
It did, because that's when I got my first credit card. I actually applied for it on my college campus. And even though I had no income at the time, I think they gave me like $4,000 or $5,000 of available credit, which, I mean, looking back is like crazy to me that I got that much credit as a student with no income, but that's where I got my first credit card.
Yeah, excellent. I always tell a lot of folks that credit card debt or credit card is not based on income. It's always based on your ability to pay back. And they assume that you either get money from your parents or you're getting student loans and you have to pay them back. But the funny thing is that the school system don't teach you personal finances or don't give you personal financial education, but they will let the credit card company come into the university to give you a credit card.
Exactly. And how are you supposed to know how to manage that credit card responsibly if no one has ever showed you that?
Exactly.
How are you supposed to know?
Yeah, exactly. So what we all do, we assume or we take advice from friends and family members and we assume because they're doing it is the right thing.
Yes. And I believe that that's really what happened to my parents. They looked around and everyone they knew was utilizing debt in some way, whether they were using credit cards or they were financing their car or they were using a home equity loan on their house. So you just start to think, well, everyone else is doing it, so it must be okay, right?
Absolutely. So now you get yourself into $30,000+ in credit card debt. What's happening now? Was the creditors calling you? Were you start missing payments? What started happening?
No, I always paid on time because I obsessed about it. I became obsessed with always paying down money on my debt, and I was very stressed about it all the time. So basically, any spare money that I had after I paid my bills, I paid my credit card. And what's interesting about that is after 5 years, I still had $30,000 of credit card debt. I didn't make a dent in it whatsoever.
So you're paying your debt on time, you're paying every single month, and you're not moving forward. You're moving backwards more than anything else. 5 years pass, you're still in debt. Now, and you're an accountant, you're managing small business or people books or finances, and then you look in the mirror one day and say, hey, what's going on with me?
All the time. I would say I looked in the mirror every day and thought that. And I really felt like a failure to myself because I was so good at handling other people's money. So good that word of mouth spread. And I mean, I had more clients than I could handle, but I just could not, for the life of me, figure out why it just wasn't clicking for me.
Right. And the light bulbs finally turn on, and what is the strategy or the step you decide to take that change your life within the short time frame? I see you mentioned here you pay off your 30,000 plus in credit card debt within the short time frame, and you had about $20,000 cash saved. How you managed to do that?
Well, I decided to make a big change. I was living in LA at the time, and I decided to move back east to be closer to my family and rebuild my life in New York. And before I actually went and did that, I pre-decided that I was going to do things very differently. First of all, I knew I wanted to focus on making more money and stop stressing about the debt. I realized that, okay, I've been stressing about debt for 5 years. It hasn't helped me. Now I'm just going to focus on making money and saving as much as I can, because I had zero savings in the bank, which made me very nervous. So I went to New York. I rebuilt my client base. It only took me 3 months. And in 3 months, I tripled my income. I had never made as much money before as I did after those 3 months were over.
Wow.
And I just started saving money. That was it. I paid, I think, a little bit over the minimum on my credit cards every single month, but I didn't focus on that anymore, because now I know that what you focus on grows. So the previous 5 years, I was really focused on debt. That's what kept expanding in my life. Now I just was focused on making more money, and after 18 months, I paid off all my debt, all of it, all 30 grand, and then walked away with 20,000 in the bank.
Now, what did you do differently to start increasing your income?
Well, previously, I had only looked for clients on Craigslist. Have you heard of Craigslist?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So I had only looked for clients on Craigslist, and then a few I got through word of mouth. Clients recommended me to other clients. Now, to expose myself to just a different client base, I started to do business networking. So when I went to New York, I just Googled business networking groups, New York City, and I found so many, I mean, more than I could ever visit. And I went to, I think, 3 or 4 meetings, and it really helped me get close to the people that were the best referral sources for me.
Right.
And from there, it just ballooned. I mean, after 3 months of meetings, as I said before, I had, more clients than I ever had before. So ever since then, I always, business networking is the first place I go anytime I'm looking to build anything new in business or expand anything.
Excellent. I like what you said, that you focus on the income versus the debt. Because often I talk to people who are on the financial stream, they says, well, Frank, my debt is too high. And I said, no, your debt is not too high. Your income is too low. Because, because your debt is what controls your lifestyle. So unless you're telling me you have a high lifestyle, which most people don't, in my opinion, then your debt is too high. So let's focus on actually making more money. So you change your approach towards your finances to focus on the positive versus the negative, and all of a sudden the positive start expanding your life. Amazing. I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, I did too.
Exactly. You're paying $30,000 in debt within a short time frame, also putting $20,000 cash in your pocket. That's amazing. I'm reading on your blog, and you said that you paid just the minimum on the credit cards and the debt that you had, and you saved up a lot. So make you feel comfortable, and then you pay off the credit cards in large portions. How you managed to figure that out?
Quite honestly, I don't think, sometimes when I tell people that this is the way I did it, they say to me, well, that's really dumb because you paid more in interest. What about all the interest that you had to pay because you were only paying minimums, right? In those 18 months. And I say to them, well, who cares? I spent 5 years in $30,000 of debt. Can you imagine how much interest I paid in those years? I think that's silly. So I don't really care that I paid a little bit more in interest during those 18 months, because the bottom line is that's what helped me pay it down. I mean, I've known people that have been in debt for 30 years, and all they ever worry about is, oh my God, I have to make my payments because I can't get charged more interest. And I kind of think, well, why? I mean, you're like spinning in a wheel, right? You're never able to get ahead. So I just say to people, if you've tried everything else and nothing seems to be working, why not try this? Try it for 3 months or 6 months and see how much differently you just start feeling about your financial situation, because that can help you more than anything else, the way you feel about it.
Yes, absolutely. Because most times when you talk to financial advisors, it says, well, the first thing to do is pay off the credit cards with a high interest. So that makes more financial sense. So you're saying to do the opposite. And I'm saying, well, financially, it doesn't make any sense. But what I understand your strategy is that by paying just the minimum and saving more money in your bank account, that gives you confidence.
Correct. And you feel more powerful. You feel in charge. I think that's a big thing I see with people in their finances. The money is in control of them. They kind of feel like a slave almost to their bills, to their debt. If you can flip that and just say, no, I'm in charge of this, it really, just makes you feel so much more powerful about yourself and your life and everything. So I'm not saying this method is for everyone, but it worked for me. And I've seen it work for other people that I've recommended it to as well.
Absolutely. And I think because often we think it's a one-size-fits-all strategy towards financial success. And we all know this, that money is not a logical game. Money is very, very emotional. So what might become sensitive to you would not be sensitive to me. So often we have to just apply the strategy that's going to work for us. And I'm glad that you came up with this strategy and actually promoting it so other people can say, hey, you know what? I've been 10, 15 years, the same thing. I'm not able to get out of it. Here is something I can try. And rather than putting $5,000 on that credit card, save up that $10,000 in my bank account, feel powerful. It motivates me to work and save more. Now I have this big lump sum. I can pay it all off back. Now, there's a few things you have where people can get access to this kind of knowledge and more. And you have a blog. It's called Fun Money Nerd. Can you tell us about Fun Money Nerd?
Yes, my blog just covers all things financial. I have everything on there from weird ways that I save money because I hate penny pinching. So I have all these strange ways that I have found to save money. So I write about that. I write a lot about debt, and not just practical ways to manage it or get out of it, but the emotion behind it. Some of my articles are very geared towards emotion behind money because, as you said before, that's really the driving force behind most people's financial lives, not the logic of it, but the emotion behind it. And I call it a fun money nerd because that's who I am. I'm not, I don't believe in being stiff. As you probably have heard, I'm not super conservative. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just not who I am. I think that dealing with money can be simple and fun. And the more simple and fun you can make it for yourself, the more successful you will be with it. So my Money Nerd blog is at agatha-k.com. And just click on the blog button and you can read all my latest posts and subscribe to them as well.
Excellent. Is your blog interactive so I can ask a question and you respond back to my answers within a short time frame?
Yes. In the comments, you can always ask questions and then I will respond to some of the questions. Yes.
Excellent.
I love getting questions as well. And even sometimes I get
okay, folks.
Did I lose you?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
Yes, whether you have a positive or a negative comment, please feel free to share it because I'll happily respond to either one.
Excellent. Thank you. Again, folks, we hear Agatha. She's from the wonderful blog. They're going to teach you about finances. You can ask her questions. It's called the Fun Money Nerd blog, and they can just Google the Fun Money Nerd, Agatha.
Yes, or Google me. Just Google Agatha K, and my website will pop up.
Excellent. You also have some online courses where you can teach them about more in-depth finances. It's called the 6 Weeks Money Mojo. What's that about?
I do. 6 Week Money Mojo is my online class. It's all pre-recorded, so it's self-paced and you can take it whenever you want. And it's an online class that I put together to basically go through everything I've learned about money in the past 10 years that I feel is the most important. It's really everything I wish someone had told me in my 20s about money. And I brought in a few other financial experts that are on the class with me. There's a financial planner, there's a debt expert, there's 2 wealth managers to kind of go through these 6 very key areas of money. And I just made it as fun as possible because, again, I don't want this course boring people to death. I think there's nothing worse than that. I really
Absolutely.
want people to walk away remembering what they learned because it was a lot more fun than anything else they've heard before.
Excellent. Now, often we talk about money, and as soon as we start use the word money, everyone gets stiff. They get cold, they get quiet, they get silent. And there's 2 things, the 2 comments I saw on your website I like. Number one, you said, get your money out of the closet. Could you elaborate on that for me, please?
When I say get your money out of the closet, I mean, be honest about it. I feel a lot of people hide what's really going on in their money lives, not just from people they don't know, but people that they love, their friends, their family, their colleagues. And I think that that can be very debilitating and really eat you up inside. So if you're really worried about something with your money, open up about it to people around you. It doesn't have to be to everyone, but at least to someone you know, because I think it's really important to get support with money, whether you're in a good place or a bad place. A lot of the rich people I've met over the years, they talk to each other about money. It's not some like hidden, white elephant in the room. They're very open about it. So I just have seen so much amazing support of people coming together when they start being honest about their money, right? Getting their money out of the closet.
Absolutely. So you said be open about it. It's not a secret. Talk about it around on the dinner table. Get the kids involved and the spouse involved in your money. Talking about money, friends, family, and spouse. I have a question that came into my show. And by the way, if you have any questions for any one of my guests, or you want to have any questions concerning myself and any financial program you have seen, you can send me an email at frank@remiktv.com. That's frank@remiktv.com. And Agatha, the question that come in is, what does Agatha think about financial infidelity?
Financial infidelity, what do you mean by that?
People cheating on their spouse financially.
Meaning, if I was married to someone and we were in a lot of debt and I would take my credit card behind my husband's back and buy shoes?
That's correct. Or saving money that he doesn't know about.
What do I think about that? I'm not really for that. I think it's very important to be honest with your money, with your loved ones, especially your spouse. I know that many people do, again, keep money in the closet. I feel like money can sometimes be it's a very personal thing, and sometimes people can feel ashamed about it. I've also seen other couples where maybe one person is a little bit more irresponsible with their money, so the other one, just like you mentioned, kind of has a savings account that they stash away. I don't know. I mean, every relationship is different. So I can't give you a blanket generalization for that, but I'm always for being honest about money. Even if you have to say to your spouse, look, I don't want to give you access to this savings account because you spend all of our money and that makes me uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Right? Just be honest.
The next question I have for you, you mentioned on your website, saving money is sexy. How's that? Because often we think that saving money is like torture. It's almost like seeing a chocolate bar and can't eat it. And here you have all this money sitting in this bank account. It's yours, and someone is telling you, don't touch it. So how does saving money, you said saving money is more sexy than having a hot car or a big home.
Absolutely. I want to make saving money sexy for everyone. And this actually comes from just my own, I guess, personal life and dating stories I've heard from my friends. I live in Los Angeles now, and there are many people here, not everyone, but many people who will kind of put on a front of having money. You know, they'll come and pick you up in their Lamborghini, and next thing you know, they live with their mother. And they're 28 years old and they live with their mother and they don't have any other expenses. Oh, but they have a Lamborghini. So they're pretending that they have all this wealth when they really don't. So I remember just having conversations with my friends that said, look, I'm not looking for someone with a hot car and a mini mansion. I just want someone that has some money in the bank and maybe some money in investments and has really a good, stable financial life.
Right.
And we all just started talking and saying, well, a lot of people don't because that's not sexy. It's sexy to have a Lamborghini, and it's sexy to take women out to hot, beautiful, fancy dinners. But it's not sexy to be, have a savings account. And I thought, well, why not? I want to make it sexy. So, I'm trying to start a movement there. Saving money is sexy.
Excellent. And you have a book coming out soon, or you're currently writing a book, Agatha?
Yes, I am currently writing a book. It won't be out till next year, though, and it's a memoir. It's not solely about money. It's just a memoir about my self-worth issues and how that tied into all of my life, including money. So that'll be out next year. It's called Sweaty Armpit Duct Tape Girl, and if you go on my website, you can get a brief preview of it.
Excellent. Now, reading on your website here, you talk about the rich have different behaviors than the poor. What is your observation that rich people do that poor people don't do when it comes to the finances?
God, how do I sum that up in a nutshell? There are so many things I've observed rich people do differently from poor people. I would say the easiest way to get all of my answers to that is if you go on my website. I have a free report about that. You can go on my website and go to the products page and just download Inside the Money Mind. And it's about a 45-minute recording and transcript of everything I've observed that rich people do differently from the broke. The main thing is they think about money differently from the broke. But to expand upon it further, and to get more specific, you can just download that free report.
Excellent.
And it'll answer.
So if someone's in financial debt, in credit card debt right now, and they're watching the interview, they want to start changing this situation, what is some of the first step that they can start doing?
Get educated. Number one, if you really are, I guess, a beginner in terms of knowing a lot about personal finance, get educated. Look for personal finance books that you can buy. If you want to take some kind of online class like the one I have, you can start there. I think it's really important to just kind of know what you're getting yourself into. And I think the second step after that would be you really need an honest picture of where you're at right now. So you need to know exactly how much money you have, exactly how much debt you have, and exactly how much you have invested, if you have any invested, so then you can figure out where it is that you want to go from there.
Excellent. And I also saw on your website, you said rich people know how to use assets to build wealth. What are some of the assets you recommend, or the assets you're using to build wealth?
Well, again, I think that's very personal question for everyone, because investing all depends on your financial goals. And it also depends on how much time you've got to keep this money invested and your risk tolerance. So I've heard lots of people say, oh, I have a really high risk tolerance and I'm going to invest all my money in the stock market. And if 1 year my portfolio is down 60%, that's cool. I don't care. But then when it actually happens, they freak out and they want to pull all their money out. So you really need to answer those two questions for yourself. How much time do I have and what's my risk tolerance? Because that will help you determine what kinds of assets to invest in. And again, there's no one size fits all for this. Some people think investing in real estate is the best thing ever. Great. Other people think investing in real estate is ridiculous and you should invest in the stock market. I say it's different for everyone. My only big rule about it is Don't ever buy any assets that you don't understand. So if you don't understand something, as slick and fabulous as it may sound, I wouldn't put my money into something I didn't understand.
Excellent. Again, here, folks, we're with Agatha from the Fun Money Nerd blog. Also, she has an online course, 6 weeks Money Mojo. And she's telling us to minimize your debt, and she used an amazing strategy that's different than most financial experts are teaching. Most financial experts teaches us to pay down the high credit card debt first, the high interest credit card debt, then you go to the lower ones. She says, pay a minimum payment, save up as much money as possible, build confidence, become powerful with your finances, that which can motivate you to save more and more money, because saving is sexy, right, Agatha? And then you take all that lump sum of money and you and make yourself debt free. Now, during that process, you might pay a little bit more in interest than traditional standards, but you're going to see yourself getting somewhere. Is that correct?
Indeed. Well said.
Excellent. So how does the viewers get a hold of you, Agatha? They want to get more information in your blog, also want to get more of your courses and your books potentially coming out soon. How to get access to you?
Just go to my website, Agatha, Agatha-K.com, and you'll find everything you want on there to your heart's content. And if you have questions, concerns, issues, whatever, you can always email me too. My email is info@agatha-k.com.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time, Agatha. And thank you for watching us in the Smart Money program. Again, my name is Frank Corbin. I'm your host. And if you have any topics or financial questions you want to ask, send us an email at frank@remictv.com. If you have any topic you want us to book a guest on the show to discuss, just send us an email also. And thank you for watching. To your success. See you next time.